I moved my camera over because I figured I should try and be in the center of the frame. I'm just gonna film so I don't feel like it no more, and I'm just gonna. It doesn't fucking matter. So the next book is called Halfway Between Worlds: Bloodline of the Pure by S.B. Terra, and it came out in 2019, and the genre is fantasy. I also didn't finish reading this book. It is. Where's Halfway Between Worlds? Oh, that's interesting. Halfway Between Worlds is actually right above Restaurant at the End of the Universe. I guess. I'm sure I have reasoning for that. I don't remember my notes after I'm done with these books, especially if they're only one-off books. Because I'm not going to come back to them, so why remember? Alice is the main character. She's going to ascend to a higher realm of magic. She has a lot of latent magical ability. She's 18, so much so that she found the magical realm when she was like 12. They didn't find her first. If she goes to the higher realm of magic, then she can never come back to the material world without risk to her health. I don't know why they call it the material world. That's kind of weird considering that they have stuff that they have in like the in the magic world, but whatever, I suppose semantics, I guess. So Alice decides to go through with it, and she ends up at the she ends up in the wildlands of the magical place. I don't think it has a name, but she ends up in the wildlands because of magical Hoosier what's its. She's found by an enemy who wants to kill her and says that like material people or analytical people don't belong in this world. And then a girl named Bella finds her and like helps her and takes her somewhere safe. And there was a war because there are people who believe that analytical should not be allowed to practice magic, and I don't know if it's to the point where they should be killed, but yeah. And I'm just playing with my hair. I'm sorry. I need my hands to do something. And it's not a mainstream idea though. Those people lost the war, and now like the wildlands is mostly where they are. The dude who the family that instigated it is believed to all be dead. So analysis also in this world will get you nowhere. Like if you think too hard about it, you're not gonna be able to do anything. So Alice is gonna go to school. She's living with Bella. The president of the school comes and is like, hey, here's some exposition about the war and everything that you should know right now. And tomorrow you're going to go to the education department and get your introduction and whatever. So Bella takes her to go, Bella becomes her mentor and takes her to go buy clothes and her wand. And they go to the wand shop, and Bella's wand has the same strand as Alice's. Are you catching what I'm throwing? Bella gives her first lesson, and then Alice goes to the education department and gets her introduction meeting. And I'm remembering why I put this book where it is, because Dark Communion is also there too, which is the next book, but we'll get there. The book's not bad. It's far from it. It's just that I've read this book before. It's Harry Potter. Like, just with a girl instead of a dude. That's it. Here's why. The wand chooses her, and it's got a strand inside of it that is similar to someone else's. She immediately meets someone who's more magical than her and is like going to be her best friend, which is Bella or Ron. They go through a wall at one point, and she almost couldn't get through it like they do in the second movie. She was noticed by them as an adolescent because she found them, even though they always knew about Harry, but still. There was a war due to the belief that some people shouldn't be able to practice magic, and the main antagonist is believed to be gone, and also dead parents living with an aunt feeling different. The biggest differences that I found was like, I don't think that they're English. The magical ascending thing means that they're like not completely cut off, but for the most part entirely cut off from the non-magical world. She joined at 18, and the plot kind of takes a second, whereas Harry was always special from the jump. And like that first chapter in Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone if you're American, which is I am, so Sorcerer's Stone. That first book, we know from the jump something is going on. Yeah, it's more similar than I thought it was from just reading the description. Like my sister was like, oh, it just sounds like Harry Potter. I didn't think it was. But part of the reason why I think a lot of us loved Harry Potter is that a lot of us were the same age as Harry and company when we picked up those books. A lot of people feel out of place 11 to 12 years old. A 17-year-old feeling out of place is a little bit harder to place because like a lot of us, not everyone, but a lot of us have a job that we are either being forced into or want to go to and have some idea about the trajectory of our life. Not knowing what you're going to do, whether by force or because you want to, is very uncommon at 17. I feel like everybody that I know that I went to college with, they like had a major because their parents told them to major in it, or they had a major because they wanted to major in it and knew what they wanted to do or were going to do with the rest of their lives. So I just feel like angsty 17-year-old feeling out of place is a lot harder to push than not angsty, than wanting to be taken away to a magical world where you are suddenly important. That's the other thing. Alice doesn't feel necessarily important. She just has a lot of magic. Hermione has a lot of magic. She can do wandless magic by sixth year. So at least according to the movie, she can. I plan to reread the books. I haven't gotten there yet, but yeah. So Dark Communion, which I briefly mentioned, is the next book. Dark Communion goes right above halfway between worlds. They're right underneath Opal Deception. Oh Lord, we'll get there though. And here's the thing with Dark Communion. I didn't remember the part about the Minotaurs at all. I think I found a description that originally did not mention them. I was very confused. So it came out in 2016 and it's a fantasy. Alea is a human girl, and she's a slave to a Minotaur, and apparently Minotaurs will procreate with their human female slaves so that they can produce more heirs, because all of the boys are Minotaurs and all of the girls are human. Alright, how a human woman is supposed to give birth to a Minotaur without dying, which I think is kind of the point, I have no idea. Her friend Dietra is going to be executed because she's barren. Alea is already pregnant. She doesn't want the baby though. Dietra is tough. She wants to run away, even though she's already tried to run away and been caught and lashed for it. Alea is not in a good way mentally. She starts hearing the voice of her mother calling her, but it's not her mom, it's someone else who can help her. And apparently, this is what we're told. A curse was laid on a Minotaur who sacked the temple, which makes all males Minotaurs and all females human. This woman, a goddess, was the lady's, it was her temple that was sacked. She wants Alea to kill Tor, who caused the curse. And this will free her people and Alea. Alea is not the first one to attempt this, but her faith is the strongest, so she's chosen. She's given the strength to she has given this prayer where it's like, hey, if you need extra help, just say this prayer, then I will guide you, which is a literal deus ex machina, but whatever. So she slays her master and she leaves. Dietra has to stay for some reason, but she ends up leaving too, so Alea goes to Minotaur Central, finds some dude named Alex Freeman, which is obnoxious, and the Freeman Society, which is also obnoxious, and she gets them to help her. She takes the temple in the city and kills Tor, and Dietra is also apparently a priestess of this goddess. Remember when I said that she was pregnant? Well, apparently he's going to be her heir, even though she doesn't want him. I don't know if he's going to come out human or Minotaur. Ugh. But apparently the Fates are already singing his name. I don't know if this was also supposed to be like a prequel, but it kind of felt like one. It didn't seem like she was pregnant the entire book. It didn't. I don't know. I'm not up to date on the logistics of human women carrying Minotaur babies, so I don't know if she just had a really easy pregnancy or it didn't feel like she was pregnant the entire fucking time. Some of the longer books have the issue of being slow, but usually either I read something that I didn't expect, like with Vice and Virtue, because that book just kept getting crazy, or I don't know how we get to the end. With this book, once she met the Freeman Society, it was kind of like, oh, okay. And I knew Dietra wasn't gonna die. I didn't expect the Minotaurs to give up so easily, though, once Tor had been killed. I don't know. I didn't like it very much, so yeah, whatever, I suppose. I mean, I guess you can subscribe.